Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is the May edition of the CTVC Virtual Presentation Series. Again, today's session will be recorded and placed in the CTVC website for those of you who wish to download it, as well as Yvonne's slides and any of the materials that we use. So this afternoon, our topic is innovative work-based learning to develop future AI leaders. And our speaker is Yvonne Portia. He is a senior IT architect and Watson Solution Acceleration Leader with the TSS organization in GTS. And he also has a team of assistants joining him today. So Yvonne?
Thank you, Dan. Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me, Dan. Everything good? Looks good?
Sounds great.
Perfect. So we're very lucky today to have a special guest. I have been a P-Tech mentor for the last 2 or 3 years. In one of my roles is AI mentor for the team at the Innovation Center in the San Rafael Valley School District. And we have here Axel and some of our students that are going to introduce themselves and going to share some of the experiences they have gone through and that we documented at the Theme 2021 a couple of weeks ago. Here's a link to the video so you can watch it later. I'll put it in the chat. Dan, to share with people. And Axel, would you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Let me get to the next slide. I'm Axel Reitzig. I'm the coordinator of innovation here at the Innovation Center at the St. Rafael Valley Schools. We'll give a little bit more information about our program here shortly. And like our student designers who are part of this AI Watson development team to introduce themselves. So we'll start with you.
Sure. I'm Will Van Buren, and I just graduated Silver Creek High School, and now I'm going to CU to study CS.
I'm Angela Wu. I just finished my 10th grade year at Ballot High School.
I'm Nora McCloy. I just finished my 9th grade year at Silver Creek High School.
I'm Katie Vu. I just graduated at Silver Creek High School, and I'm going to Santa Clara University for computer science engineering.
And we have other team members who weren't able to join us today, but you can see they're from throughout the school district. And we're really proud of our team and very grateful to have Yvonne as our mentor, who's worked with us many years now.
Thank you, Axel.
I think we're going to share a video real quick. If I can get to the video. All right, and then Dan, if the sound doesn't come through, please let me know right away. Here's that.
It's a little delay there.
So does that go through?
It is going through. It just takes a little to start.
The Innovation Center is a career technical education program in San Rafael Valley School District, and we focus on career preparedness. We do this in 5 different ways. We offer advanced classes focused on a variety of advanced technologies that happen during the school day. We offer students important and meaningful work-based learning opportunities like internships. We also have them work on after-school project teams, which are jobs. They get hired and paid to do this work. We also work with universities and community colleges to provide students with access to concurrent enrollment opportunities. And we work with industry to provide students with chances to take and earn professional certifications.
My name is Eric Bringen, and I'm one of the coordinators of programs here at the Innovation Center. And some of the programs and pathways that we have here at the IC are cybersecurity, robotics, bioscience. We also have a design pathway, aeronautics. One of the ways that we make sure that we skill up our students is through digital badging. And we started off by using open badges through the P-Tech program, and IBM's really been a great partner in terms of helping lay the foundational framework for badging. I think our biggest challenge and piece that, and also rewarding piece, is that we get to work with industry on how do we take these pathways and improve them, and also make sure that we are keeping up to date with the new and innovative technologies that are out there.
Clients engage with us and they pay to have this work done. And we collaborate closely with industry so we can get mentors who have professional expertise to work with our students on these projects. I'd like to talk about our project teams, which so that was a short overview of the Innovation Center. A little bit about our programming, excuse me. I just want to reiterate a couple of things that were presented in that video so you can understand the nature of our program. It's a pretty unique program within St. Vrain and across Colorado. We do offer advanced classes during the day, like a traditional vocational or CTE, career technical education program. Students have home high schools, and when they enroll in our classes here, their transportation is available to bring them to the Innovation Center for those classes. Our classes are aligned to different divisions. You heard some about those divisions in the video. We have robotics, computer science, cyber technology, cybersecurity, aviation, aeronautics, videography, a whole range of different divisions that are offering these classes. One of the things that makes us very unique is our work-based learning opportunities, particularly our project teams. So the team that's presenting to you today is an example of this work. And the goal is to develop that talent pipeline for organizations like IBM. We know that computer science and related industries are really struggling to find enough people to fill all the opportunities that are available. So we want to support students getting that experience before they graduate high school. We want to help them develop their skills and knowledge, but more importantly, we want to provide them with authentic opportunities to apply that skills and knowledge and particularly work for clients. So the projects that these students will share with you are client-based work. They have active clients that they're designing for. And this helps them really, again, not only develop their skills and knowledge and deepen that experience, but also understand if this is really a field that they want to go into. That leads into our post-secondary pathways. So we want to ensure students know which direction they want to go after high school. So as you heard from Will and Kaylee, they are already on track to go to college and they know what they want to study, which is computer science, and that's really great. A real key element is partnerships. So we have worked with IBM as a district for many years. Dan has been a really important partner for us, particularly with things like Innovation Academy. And Yvonne also has been a really important partner for us. One of his roles, among many, has been to mentor our students. And they'll share with you how that's impacted them and really help them with the work that they're doing here. And then ultimately, what we want to be as a center or program in the district is to be that engine of innovation. So technology is ever evolving and it's really changing quickly. So how can we as a K-12 organization keep up with that change and that pace? So our role here is to, by talking with mentors and working with organizations like IBM, make sure we're on track, we're aligning our work to what is happening in industry and outside of K-12, and do the best we can to help our students graduate so that they have what we call competitive advantage. They are able to go after any opportunity they want and be very competitive for that opportunity. So I think that's an overview. Anything I missed from the team, or Yvonne, maybe to add?
That extends beyond this building. We have a mobile lab. We have all these other initiatives around the state, right?
Yes, so our programming definitely goes beyond the walls of our facility, which is in Longmont. We have a mobile lab, which is the Innovation Center on Wheels, and it goes out to schools across the district. It also goes beyond the district boundaries to do different visits and functions. And then we work very closely with teachers across the district to bring our programming to all those schools as well. All right, so let's get to the fun part, which is our Innovation Center project teams. So students are going to be taking over here. What they're going to share here is how we're doing our best to develop that AI talent pipeline specifically.
So with help from our team and IBM Watson, we've developed communication skills and we've learned and applied design thinking in ways that we wouldn't necessarily have been able to do, or we've either improved on it or we learned it, you know, from scratch. And we've learned how to use email to broadcast projects, how to conduct an impactful presentation, and we've learned how to communicate with clients in an effective and personal manner, which is definitely important.
Yeah, and like another way that like we're learning new things is like we're using an engineering notebook. So this is how we record our project materials, this is how we analyze and improve them, and this is how we reflect on them. So we kind of go through every single thing that we do throughout our meetings to make sure that we're not missing something, that we're not doing something that we already did.
Right, and by doing these projects, we've really learned and applied design thinking in ways that we wouldn't have otherwise. So, for example, when making chatbots, we really have to empathize and define the problem that we're solving, because without doing that, we can't really make an effective chatbot. And of course, we have to ideate, so figure out what kind of chatbot we're going to make, and also prototype and test it to get ready to be put on like websites and stuff. Right, so this is just an example of the architecture that we made when we were creating our chatbots. So obviously the user asks the chatbot a question on the website interface, and then that utterance is sent to the chatbot and IBM servers, and then gets sent back to the website interface and obviously to the user.
We're going to do 2 demonstrations. Real quick, to give you the context. So in the fall, we developed our team and brought in some new team members. So did some training, and one of the things they used was were some of those courses from OpenPTech through IBM, and that's how they developed their foundational skills in using Watson Assistant and design thinking and those types of skills. And then we identified some potential clients, and the team then went using the design thinking, interviewed and began designing for those clients. So the first set of clients is KidSpot. I think they're going to talk to you about what that works look like, and then also demonstrate their chatbot. And if you're interested, they'll show kind of the back end of what they've developed for that. So I need to hop out here real quick. Oops, wrong one. You can go to introduce it real quick.
Okay, so some context. So my team works with KidSpot, which is a pediatric therapy. My team consists of Will, Nora, and one other member. So they don't have a receptionist, so we wanted to help them with this chatbot to answer like their frequently asked questions, so they wouldn't have to answer so many calls a day. So they wanted to name the chatbot Hedgie because that's their animal, the mascot. Yeah.
So we'll demonstrate a couple questions, and we'd love to have you share some questions as well, so we can test this chatbot. So, where are you looking? How about that? All right, we'll do Louisville since it's a little bit closer. All right, success. What's another question we might ask?
What are your programs?
What are your programs? Please feel free to chat a question to us. We'd love to see what you bring up. And here they've learned to embed a link. And there we go. Okay. Any questions? I'm trying to see the chat. Let's see here. All right. Let's try one more question. Do you accept insurance, right?
That's a big question that they get.
Right. So what's one learning you got from interviewing them about help they can use as a business?
Interviewing
The client, yeah, your client.
So
So how does a chatbot, like a technology like this, how's that really helpful for a small business like theirs?
So, I mean, they don't really have a receptionist, so they can't keep picking up the phone, and so having.
Okay then.
All right, well, we'll just do this in the dark.
Yep.
All the lights went off.
So since they're a small business and they have to like maintain a lot of things, so maybe like this chatbot can help them answer all these questions that they can't answer like every single day.
Yeah. And it's definitely because there are quite a few therapists. It definitely detracts from the client experience for them. Because if they have to they're going to miss calls, you know, if they keep having to pick them up during sessions. And if they pick up the phone, then it's not very professional. So a chatbot that can answer these questions and kind of slow down incoming phone calls will definitely be helpful for them.
Something related to the pandemic right now, so a lot of clients are adopting chatbots. For instance, one of the major providers of vaccine right now is an IBM client, and we're providing chatbots to do the registration. So this is a technology that is in use today.
Let's take a look at the back end maybe, huh? Here's their Watson assistant. Do you want to share a little bit? Anything you want to look at? Or dialogue?
Yeah, I'd say dialogue.
Somebody's asking on the, if you could hit try on that button.
Sure.
And if you ask, what is the meaning of life?
Oh.
Oh no. Because we were supposed to add that, weren't we?
Do you have the dad jokes?
So somebody on the chat, Kathy Burns, asked that question. How do you handle anything else?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can escalate to an agent. When we don't understand, we have a counter. So if you try too many times and it's not successful, we can escalate to an agent, or we can collect your information and give you a call back, right? Good question, Kathy.
Anyway, so you can see here just what they put together. So if you have any questions for them right now, I know they'd love to entertain them. Oops. Anything to share? What were the biggest difficulties, I think, of doing a dialogue?
I'd say just like kind of learning all the stuff that you can do with it was probably the hardest part. But once we learned that, it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's kind of different from coding. So like when we did the if else, you can't really type if else. So we had to figure out like where stuff, like which nodes jump to another, and kind of like go back and forth.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed is you cannot have duplicates of dialogue. It does not work. But there's also like sometimes there are very, very, very specific things that you will have to change in order for it to work. Like everything else we write, and then you realize you've set it to random instead of sequential for the dialogue, and it makes a difference. So
Yes. And you also got some certifications, right, from IBM P-Tech? Mm-hmm. So you got badges that you're gonna put in your LinkedIn or your resume when you graduate?
We can demonstrate the second chatbot.
Yeah, so our group worked on a chatbot called Katrina for the AI Cybersecurity Hub in the district. And basically, it just handles questions and just it handles questions about AI or cybersecurity opportunities in the district. Because the AI Cybersecurity Hub is this new kind of initiative that's pushing AI and cybersecurity opportunities. And yeah, one of the more common questions, what is AI? I'm not sure. So it'll handle common questions like, what is AI, or like what kind of extracurriculars can my student participate in. We get a lot of questions about like the courses that are offered.
Like that.
Yeah. You might need to reload the page.
There you go.
Yeah. And so like we also embedded a link as well.
All right.
And so our client was a little different from the previous chatbot. It's not an outside business. It's like really connected with the district. And so the kinds of questions that it handles are usually like more simple, and it doesn't cover as much.
Or informational.
Yeah, it's definitely more informational, and our like specifically our chatbot didn't look to engage with an agent. Like we just want to keep it within the chatbot and kind of limit that calling like the front office of the innovation center.
Okay. And then we can look at the
Yeah,
back in the here.
yeah, and then we can go to dialogue as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so our dialogue is clearly a lot more simplified than the KidSpot chatbot. As you can see, it kind of handles like teachers, courses, extracurriculars, a lot of questions that are pretty common. I think one thing that our team definitely learned about like figuring out dialogue in the nodes is like looking at like the difference between perhaps like what entities are and context variables. Like one like aha moment, I guess, was like when you finally get to figure out like exactly how you want the dialogue to be, and it comes out just like that. It's really satisfying.
Right. I think Yvonne chatted both links to in the chat. I think the teams would love if you would ask the chat bot some questions, because they'll be working on this project during the summer. And we use the term project, but this is really a job for them. They're working on behalf of the Innovation Center, Yvonne really, and then their clients. So they will be working on these to improve them and keep them up to date over the course of the summer. Okay, any last things to add about what you did? Okay. If you have any questions as well, feel free to send them through the chat. Okay. There we go. All right, let's continue sharing a little bit about what the students have learned in this work.
So with help from our team and IBM Watson, we've developed organization and time management skills, learned about responsibility in our jobs, and learned how to work with specific clients, because each client is different. And you've got to really focus in on what working with them would be like.
Yeah, and just like another little thing to add, it's definitely like a lot different than working like on a project in school, because like you're working for a client and like the client needs something specifically done, versus maybe just like a rubric that your teachers might give you.
How does that feel, or does it motivate you differently when you have a real client to work for?
Well, I think a lot of the times in school, when you're like assigned to like maybe create some program in computer science, it doesn't really make you feel like driven to complete it, because it's not like actually solving anything. It's just like some arbitrary project that you create. But with this job, it's like actually solving a problem for a client, right? So it's actually going to be used in like real life.
Yeah, so to work on time management, before every project, we set deadlines in a timeline, which you see on the right. So that's our timeline for KidSpot, where we figure out like when to release the beta, when to release the actual chatbot for the client. So back in the presentation, Angela showed her engineering notebook, and in that she had the to-do list, and it tells us like when to, like what we need to get done the next time, what to do that day, like when we meet. So with these, we can have better efficiency and productivity for the project to be successful.
Yeah, and like another thing that we learned about responsibility with our clients is how to set like reasonable deadlines and how to like actually communicate with our clients. So first, like at the beginning of the project, we learn about what we're going to be doing, and then we create an executive summary, and then we kind of go through like a timeline. For my specific project, we didn't have a pricing because like we're technically doing this for the Innovation Center. And it was really important to be able to communicate what we're doing and what we're changing with the clients. And we also need to be able to learn what the clients want. So for example, a big thing with chatbots is tone and personality. And in order to figure out the tone and personality of our chatbot, we have to be able to communicate with the clients about what kind of chatbot they want and adjust our dialogue to fit that.
The clients are always very good about responding, I think.
Yes,
right?
always.
Okay.
Right, so we've also learned a lot of technical skills, right? So developing a basic knowledge of programming and also basic understanding of AI. So one example is how we learned to create architecture. This architecture that you see isn't for chatbot, but instead a project that we did last summer for IBM's Call for Code competition. So you can see, obviously, it's kind of complicated, but one thing that we learned is to really like simplify it so that it's easy to understand, so that we can present it to like clients and to whoever we need to present it to.
I think you also learned about the various resources IBM has and how to kind of connect them to do your project, right?
Yes,
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So for our chatbots, we're using IBM's Assistant, and then for this project, Senior Citizens Connect, we use Personality Insights, and really going over this stuff has really just taught us how to implement not only IBM's like different programs or utilities, but also other companies. So yeah, I'd say that's really useful.
So, in addition to teaching us how a computer thinks and learns, we learn basic programming skills such as HTML, which we use for things like links and responses, logical thinking, which was the ability to translate human ideas into computational instructions, and it's used everywhere in the computer science industry, and that was definitely a useful skill to learn. And routing information through a complex network or dialogue tree, which was our primary way of creating the chatbot.
And we also learned more about AI. So we learned to differentiate machine learning from deep learning and AI. They're all different. So artificial intelligence is kind of this big branch, and then machine learning is a subsection. It's the most prevalent kind of AI, and the main thing about it is that it learns from patterns and from examples. And then deep learning is another part of machine learning, and it kind of has to do with neural networks, which is modeled around like the brain and how the brain functions. It's definitely more complex, and so we still have a lot to learn about deep learning. But it's really important to be able to understand kind of what AI is, because like we're using AI in our projects, and it is already the next step in the future for technology.
I think that was the overview for how the students, what they've done this past year, working together with Yvonne and using IBM's Watson and other resources. You want to do questions first, Yvonne? Or?
Questions, yeah.
Yeah, if you have any questions now, I would love to have you throw some questions at the kids.
Hey, this is Dan. I had one to start us off. First of all, great work, and I find it fascinating too. You applied so many things we do within IBM within your work. It's fantastic. Question I had was related actually to your organizational skills and everything that you showed in your presentation there. How did doing this type of work that impact you students as people in your classes and with other interactions? I mean, obviously you learned all this, you applied it to this project, but for example, did this help you improve your organizational skills for other projects or classes or anything else you work on?
It definitely improved my communication skills a lot, specifically with emails. Like, I've become a lot more confident sending emails. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I guess before for organization, my Google Drive and computer, it was kind of like a big mess. But then after we did like stuff with the notebook and all these folders and stuff, I decided to actually clean it up. So now my Google Drive is actually navigatable, if that's a word.
I learned a lot from like using different tools with these projects. So like something similar to Will, I started using more of a Google Drive to organize all of my different projects. And with the timeline, I started using Google Sheets, what we use for the timeline with Call for Code. And then just found like some random websites online to like other timelines just to make it more organized and professional.
Yeah, and I would say like recently, like being able to talk about our project to a lot of people has definitely improved like my speaking skills and like public speaking and like being able to confidently say stuff.
I'm like the ADHD poster child, so this has definitely taught me a lot about responsibility and, just sitting down, getting focused, and doing work that needs to be done. So I think it's definitely helped me manage my time, which is something I definitely struggle with.
Excellent. Thank you very much. It's great to see the life skills tie into this as well.
That was a great question, Dan. Thank you.
And Dan, I just want to add to that too. I'm kind of working on my neurodiversity badge or whatever, and so I'm very cognizant of that. And the students are great, and they seem like a diverse group, and that is so important and so appreciated. Just makes my heart warm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're going to share some resources with the audience. If I share the Jason and all the presentation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate that comment, and we have 6 other team members, and it's been an amazing team to work with. They are from different schools of the district, different grade levels. We have freshmen all the way through seniors, and I mean, you guys have gotten along really, really well, and they did it during a time of COVID. Right? I think this is maybe only the 3rd time. This is the first time I've met Nora in person. Yvonne and I haven't met her in person before. So they've done a really exceptional job, I feel, during a difficult time. And it's, again, for me, as an educator, it's multiple things coming together that really elevate this. So Yvonne is just a critical ingredient, and his expertise and his just commitment to making the project and the students successful. And the resources from IBM, that can't be understated. The commitment on the part of the students. So all those things kind of are unique and really come together to, I think, really make this possible. I think we have a call for action, unless there are more questions, and we'll be on for a bit to take more questions. But I'll let you want to talk here?
Yes. So how does this work? So this is not on the back end, like Axel was saying. It's a collaboration of partners, industry, education, the students. So we need your help. We would like you to be a guest speaker, to share your expertise. This is the Technical Vitality Council. So let's share with these students some of the things that we work on as professionals in in the IT field. So please reach out to any one of us. We would like to have you as a speaker to help us with our project, to co-present. So here's our contact information. Axel?
Yes, we would love to have you be involved in some way, either here or somewhere in the district. The mentoring is an ongoing kind of involvement. So, that if that fits your interests and schedule, we'd definitely love to talk to you about that. But there are other ways that you can onboard and be involved. Just sharing your expertise, being a guest speaker. Another thing too is like providing a project. So maybe you could be a client or you can refer a client to us or give them something that they're designing for. And the presentation, I think that came up a couple times here, like this opportunity for them to present to professionals. They also got a chance to teach Yvonne's seniors from CU Boulder, right? So those are students as young as freshmen in high school teaching seniors in college about how to develop a chatbot. That's really a valuable experience for students to have. So if you have other ideas as well, we'd love to hear about them, but definitely appreciate your time today to come here and see the presentation. And again, we'd love to see if there are any more questions you might have or any feedback you might have.
If you want to type it in the chat, we can also answer from there. So Dan, any final questions before we close?
Nope, I just want to say great job, and we will be posting this, everyone, in the CTVC website, so along with Yvonne's slides. So if you are interested in becoming involved with Yvonne's team, feel free to reach out to him or to me, and also feel free to share this replay, which will also be posted with anyone you think might be interested in getting involved. That'd be great. So good job, you guys. Very impressive work.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, thanks for joining. We will talk to you next month. Take care.
You too. Have a great Memorial Day.